What's something you hate seeing people do in a restaurant? My dad joining in with the waiters singing happy birthday for a table on the other side of the restaurant. Dad used to sing opera and has frequently drowned out the 4-5 waitstaff singing, gotten the entire restaurant to be quiet and then clap wildly at the end. It's a miracle at no point 14 to 17-year-old me didn't just melt into a tiny puddle of embarrassment and die. Not supervising their children. Kids running around the restaurant drives me crazy. If you can't keep your kid at the table, stay at home. Be rude or unrealistic towards the waitstaff. Well, the other day I saw this woman sharing her pizza with the chihuahua she kept in her fake Louis Vuitton bag on her lap. So I guess that I've been at a restaurant with my husband when a family, including a toddler, walked in, sat down and placed a child's potty right next to their table. I saw this new couple, I assume it was a new couple, sitting next to each other, and the girl was taking sips out of her soda and passing it from her mouth into her boyfriend's mouth. They were also kissing a lot, and his hands were wandering under her blouse. Get a goddamn room, I'm trying to enjoy my food. In all you can eat restaurants, when people pile a ton of food that they know they can't finish, it just makes them think that they've taken as much as they paid for, but in reality they are just wasting food. There is a circle of hell reserved for people that change diapers on the table in the middle of a restaurant. Seriously, the bathroom is steps away. I don't want to see or smell shit while I'm eating my tacos. Chewing like an old cow with their mouth open. Just fucking gross. When people try to come in 15 minutes before you open and get pissed off if you don't let them in. When people act like it's my fault their food is taking a while at the peak busy hour on a Saturday night. Trust me, I want to get you the fuck out of my section as soon as possible. If your food was ready, I'd bring it to you. When people put their linen napkin in their dish. If it's linen, we launder it at the end of the night. Why would you put it in your leftover marinara? When they are flopping around aggressively in a booth, whose seat back is shared by another booth, especially when that other booth is occupied by me. People who carry on conversations at the table while the waiter is waiting to take their order when they literally just grabbed his shirt to stop him from walking by because they were ready to order. Yeah, this happened to me and I was pissed. One of the most incredibly rude tables I've ever dealt with. Every table in my section complained about them. Send food back because it's too warm. Just wait 2 fucking minutes. Being a douchebag to waitstaff. One sweet time, where I felt great. My wife and I were walking out of Applebee's, and we noticed this guy and girl are at a table. The guy is loudly being just mean to the waitress, who was also had been our waitress. This is why you are a waitress, and I'm not etc. It had to be a first date, because the lady looked really uncomfortable and embarrassed. You could see that the waitress was trying to keep a positive face, but she was obviously hurt/angry. Anyways, I walked up to her and pulled my wallet out and handed her a $20 and said something along the lines of "You are doing a great job and we appreciated your service. Some people are assholes, and I'm sorry you have to deal with them." My wife told the lady this is your future. Then we walked out. The adrenaline rush kept us going for hours. We are not bold people, and I'm not sure what came over us, but it was awesome. I'm going to chase that feeling. Anyways, that's my story. Not wash their hands in the bathroom. I know the sign says employees must wash hands, but come on. I encountered this yesterday, and it enrages me. At fucking Panera, when some douchebag with a laptop orders a coffee and proceeds to sit in the giant corner booth with a bunch of chairs around it and splays out all his shit and just surfs the fucking internet during the lunch rush while people with trays of actual food walk around desperately searching for a seat to eat their meal and leave. What the fuck are you doing? Really? It's just the rudest fucking thing ever. Why did you have to take up 8 fucking spaces just to sit there looking like a fucking vacant muppet with your super cool Alienware laptop? I wanna throw my bread bowl on you for being an inconsiderate twat. Snap at the waitstaff. Ugh. Just give them the look. Blame the server for a kitchen mistake. Mistakes happen. If you're nice about it, they'll probably buy you something. Eat their entire meal. Then tell them that they didn't like it. Give them a chance to fix it. Be ready to order. Guilty of this. I feel bad every time. Camp while there is a wait. I hate when people tell me they know the owner. There are a group of owners. I will not treat you any differently than I treat people who don't say they know an owner. A few weeks ago I heard I know the owner's brother and wanted to rip the lady's mouth off of her face. I don't give a shit who you know. You just make yourself look like a giant asshole when you drop that line. You can't have a discount, and I'm not giving you anything free. I know all the owners, and they like making money. There's a lot of comments about saying something rude or ordering a waiter/waitress around, but I think what's worse is when people essentially act as though the servers aren't there, saying their order in a very offhand manner without looking at them, talking to their friends while ordering, and then when their food comes they don't even say thank you or acknowledge the waiter. They just continue talking without looking away. What's worse is when they start eating the food as soon as it's put down and don't look at the server. So much worse to see than someone making a snarky comment. I work at a restaurant as a server/host, so my examples might be a bit specific, but in no particular order. Getting angry when there is a wait on an obviously busy day and demanding to know exactly when a table will be ready. We can guess, sure, but I don't know if someone will get up right away or if they'll sit a while and talk. We have a policy of people seating themselves when the restaurant isn't full. Of course this means they mostly sit at dirty tables and yell at us for the table being dirty when there is a perfectly clean table a few feet away. Oh, are you closed? Yes, that's why we've been turning the lights off, mopping, shutting the blinds, and no one has come in for 45 minutes. We are not making the food. It is not our fault that it hasn't come out yet. I put it in immediately after you ordered. I once had a table where a woman's child knocked a glass on the floor and shattered it, and as I was picking up the shards she was yelling at me because I should have known the child would get up and reach across the length of the table to the other side and knock the glass off, and that our tables were too small, and that the odge didn't taste right either, by the way. All this while I'm on my hands and knees picking up your fucking kid's trash. TL. Doctor blaming me for your kid being a screaming maniac equals fuck you. I mean, it's a lot of little things, so I guess the thing that I hate people doing is just not paying attention to their surroundings or getting pissed at something that is totally out of our control. I've never fucked with anyone's food, but there was this one rude couple one night. I work at a Korean BBQ, and we serve boiling hot soup and smoking hot BBQ dishes. Anyway, we tend to get a lot of families with little kids, so I'm extremely careful when putting down the soup/dishes on the tables. I'm in the process of setting the last dish on the table when the guy just decides he's going to grab it out of my hand by gripping the flaming hot skillet. He screamed and flailed, and the dish flew up and just knocked over a bunch of shit and boiling hot soup on the table. Now everyone is freaking out. Kids are crying. My manager runs out to see what happened. They tell her I dropped the plate on their table. The guy is sitting there with pretty severely burned hands telling her that she has no choice but to believe them and remakes their whole meal on the house while I cleaned up a huge ass mess and didn't get a tip. I wish I would have at least slapped my balls around in his kimchi once. As an employee I hate seeing a party of 5 or more show up right before closing, especially if they have kids with them. No child should be out that late eating dinner. In general I just hate rude customers who act like they are superior to the staff. Had a lady ask my friend if she would be serving tables her whole life. My friend got great pleasure in explaining to her what she was double majoring in at Virginia Tech. Slurping. I know it's acceptable in some parts of the world, but it sounds and looks disgusting. I once left a restaurant in London due to a cacophony of slurping. I hate it when people stare at me while I'm eating in a restaurant. When they finish the food and then complain about that it wasn't cooked to their liking or that the steak was too tough. If it was such a terrible meal, they wouldn't have finished the whole thing. They're just a bunch of assholes trying to score a free meal. If it's a smallish restaurant like the last couple I've worked in, it drives me insane when people aren't cognizant of the space they take up. It's usually guys, and they sprawl out and have their chairs as far away from their table as possible while barely being able to reach their food, and I have to constantly whack them with my butt and people can't get around them when I'm seating them. I mean, I want you to be comfortable, but I can't imagine that it's comfortable to constantly get asked to move or be bumped into. People who request a water cup, they're smaller and free, and then go to fill up at the soda machine. You're stealing. For some reason I see more older people doing this. Stealing tabletop items from restaurants. I used to serve, and at a few different locations people would steal from the establishment. At one place it was the small pizza pans, and parmesan, and cracked red pepper shakers that we kept in the pans. Another place people would steal Stella Artois and Sam Adams glasses. It happened very often, and never failed to piss me off. People telling waiters/waitresses that they'll take the food if no one else wants it when they're having trouble finding a table. Seriously, you're not funny, fuck off. Claiming they are allergic to something when they really just don't like said item. Just tell them you want the item left out. In most cases substitution or omission is super easy. In case of an allergy the kitchen has to clean all the utensils, clean all cooking surfaces, re-prep ingredients, double check pre-made component lists, and make your food separate from all others to prevent cross-contamination, adding a lot of time to everyone else's food orders. This is something most restaurants will do gladly to please a customer, but if there was no allergy to begin with you just wasted a lot of time and effort. For example, I've seen someone claim to be allergic to tomatoes, making the kitchen go through this 20+ minute process only for her to cover her food in ketchup once it got to the table. When other people stare at me/my food, can I help you? Also, as a restaurant manager, a customer dropped this on me last night during a very busy, nerve-wracking short-staffed dinner rush. From her table, she yelled, "Oh, and we want everything fresh." I about had an aneurysm.